morning, everybody, and welcome to CPS News. It's obviously Monday night, and you have tuned into CPS News, the news that speaks your language. I'm Brent Lane as always, but tonight I'm all by myself. Very sad. Jessie is out tonight. She's doing great, and she'll be back next week, no worries. So a big shout out to you, Jessie. I'm going to miss you on the set tonight and our playful banter. But with that, we've got to move on. So first up tonight, we've got the headlines, and then we got a lot of news. We got sports, we got entertainment, all the stuff you're used to. So let's go with the headlines. As usual, move it, go, and headlines.
Tonight on CPS News, Jalisco and Nayarit join forces. A new public transport mega project is back on track, promising a dignified, safe, and efficient corridor between Puerto Vallarta and Bahía de Banderas. Highway delay alert. The Tepic-Compostela Highway will now open November 1st, as structural issues hold back the stretch connecting Tepic and Riviera Nayarit. Crocodile crisis. As more crocodiles appear dead in Vallarta, reptile expert Dr. Elios Hernandez warns of the risks of removing them and the vital need to protect the species. Virtual extortion scare. Criminals manipulate a local boy into leaving his home and demand a 250,000 peso ransom. Find out how quick action and community support led to his safe return. Voices of Vallarta. Brent Lane sits down with Vin Maru of Financial Liberties to discuss banking frustrations at Intercam and what's ahead for the exchange rate. Sports Spotlight. The road to the 2025 National Popular Games begins. Bahía de Banderas opens its state call for youth athletes in soccer, boxing, and martial arts. All that and more, tonight on CPS News with Jessie and Brent, the news that speaks your language.
Okay, first up tonight, it's the story that had everyone talking on social media this week. And now the lioness known as Kiri Kiri is officially in federal custody. The 7-month-old lioness, seen in viral videos strolling Puerto Vallarta's city streets, was rescued during a high-impact operation led by Profeco with support from the municipal police, the Navy, the Army, and federal prosecutors. Authorities tracked her to a private home in the Independencia neighborhood where streets were blocked off and drones were deployed to secure the area. The animal was found unharmed and has been transferred to the protected facility that she's currently being kept in. Officials say the owner had previously been warned, and this week's seizure followed an earlier failed inspection attempt. The suspect reportedly fled during the raid and remains at large. Neighbors said Kiri Kiri has been seen in the area for weeks, sometimes walked on a leash, and that the owner claimed to have permits, though authorities have not yet verified that. Profeca has now filed formal charges for wildlife crimes, and the investigation is ongoing. No word yet on whether Kiri Kiri will remain in Mexico or be moved to an overseas sanctuary. Of course, we're going to continue to follow this case and bring you updates as they come in. Now, this case has sparked mixed reactions in the community, some praising the rescue, others defending the owner's efforts. For now, Kiri Kiri remains under that protection, and we'll just continue to follow this story. And of course, thank you to Miguel Gonzalez Guerra for our first story tonight. So, of course, we don't know where Kiri Kiri is going to end up, and for now, she's in that custody, as I mentioned, and the investigation does continue, but we'll keep you up to date and let you know. Now, in our next story tonight, a major project that could change the way thousands of people move between Vallarta and Bahia is back in motion. Officials from both states just sat down to get things moving again. That's all the puns we can have for moving around in one preview. And here's Joe with the details.
Transportation officials from Nayarit and Jalisco have reactivated plans to develop a modern, safe, and efficient interstate public transportation system connecting Puerto Vallarta and Bahía de Banderas, a route used daily by thousands of commuters. Sistel Karime Buhaya Lora, Nayarit's Secretary of Mobility, and Diego Monraz Villaseñor, Jalisco's Secretary of Transportation, met in Puerto Vallarta to revive working sessions aimed at transforming transit along Federal Highway 200. The goal? To provide a dignified, accessible, and safe transportation option for users crossing state lines. Both states committed to holding regular working meetings as part of the agreement, aligning with the vision of their respected governors. This renewed dialogue comes nearly 3 months after the first summit between Governor Pablo Lemus Navarro of Jalisco and Governor Miguel Angel Navarro Quintero of Nayarit, where they pledged close cooperation on key regional issues, including mobility, tourism, health, and infrastructure. This mega corridor project could reshape how locals and visitors move through the region, marking a major step forward in interstate integration and sustainable urban development. With information from Israel Torres, Joe Wasik, CPS News.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Now, moving on. A bit more transportation news, and here's Eric with our next story tonight.
Nayarit and Jalisco reactivate plan for mega transit corridor between Vallarta and Bahía. Transportation officials from Nayarit and Jalisco have reactivated plans to develop a modern, safe, and efficient interstate public transportation system connecting Puerto Vallarta and Bahía de Banderas, a route used daily by thousands of commuters. Sistel Karime Buhaya Lora, Nayarit's Secretary of Mobility, and Diego Monraz Villasenor, Jalisco's Secretary of Transportation, met in Puerto Vallarta to revive working sessions aimed at transforming transit along Federal Highway 200. The goal? To provide a dignified, accessible, and safe transport option for users crossing state lines. Both states committed to holding regular working meetings as part of the agreement, aligning with the vision of their respective governors. This renewed dialogue comes nearly 3 months after the first summit between Governor Pablo Lemus Navarro of Jalisco and Governor Miguel Ángel Navarro Quintero of Nayarit, where they pledged close cooperation on key regional issues including mobility, tourism, health, and infrastructure. This mega corridor project could reshape how locals and visitors move through the region, marking a major step forward in interstate integration and sustainable urban development. With information from Israel Torres, your name, CPS News.
Thanks, Eric. You already know that taking care of yourself starts with staying on top of your health. I talk about it all the time. But right now, Hospital Hoya Riviera is offering a full checkup for just 4,000 pesos. And it covers everything from a medical evaluation and lab work to nutritional assessment and an electrocardiogram. This deal runs through July 31st, so you only have a few more weeks to book your appointment, and you can do that by calling 322-226-8181. Hospital Hoya Riviera, they know how to take care of you, and that's important for your health and your well-being. Okay, now a story regarding animal cruelty right here in Vallarta again. We told you about the beheaded crocodile last week, and now there are more reports coming in. Here's Maria with this very, very disturbing story.
In Puerto Vallarta, the recent killing of 2 crocodiles has raised alarms among environmentalists and biologists. These reptiles were found dead after appearing in unusual beach areas like Mismaloya and Las Animas. Dr. Elios Hernandez, professor and crocodile researcher at CU Costa University of Guadalajara, warns that the population of crocodiles in the region is small and fragmented. No more than 300 individuals across bodies of water like the Ameca River, El Salado Estuary, and Marina Vallarta. These aren't pests, says Dr. Hernandez. Crocodiles are indicators of healthy ecosystems. Their presence tells us our wetlands are still functioning. The reptile expert, who also leads the Cipactli Reptile Center, emphasized that attacks on pets or humans usually occur when humans invade crocodile habitats, especially during rainy season when they roam more freely between estuaries, rivers, and beaches. Despite common fear, crocodiles have always been here, he explains. They're part of our ecosystem and part of our cultural identity. Cipactli was even seen as a god in ancient times. On July 9th, CU Costa led training workshops for civil protection, ecological police, and municipal ecology staff to promote safe and responsible handling of wildlife during nesting season. Dr. Hernandez closed with a call for coexistence, noting that cities like Cancun, Miami, and even parts of Australia and South Africa have learned to live alongside crocodiles safely. Puerto Vallarta can too, he insists, if we foster knowledge, respect, and collective responsibility. With information from Miguel González Guerra, Maria Ammerman, CPS News.
Looking to give your home a fresh new vibe? Take advantage of the summer season to renovate your home with Ceramicas Exclusivas. Discover everything you need to transform your spaces with style and elegance at prices you will love. From stunning flooring and modern bathrooms to those unique details that truly make a difference at a reasonable price. Visit their showroom at Calle Federación 390 in Ixtapa, Puerto Vallarta, and explore a wide wide variety to fit every taste and budget. This summer, refresh your home with Ceramicas Exclusivas, where quality meets design. Follow them on Instagram or Facebook to see their latest collections and get inspired. Ceramicas Exclusivas, because your home deserves the best.
Now, moving on tonight, we have Sunny telling us about what could be the largest park ever in Nayarit. But as always, there is a bit of controversy, so stay tuned.
El Calele Lagoon, the most important body of water in Bahía de Banderas, may soon become Nayarit's largest natural park. The local government has revived a proposal to declare the lagoon a protected natural area, aiming to rescue it from urban encroachment and pollution. Spanning nearly 100 hectares, El Calele is home to mangroves, over 100 plant species, and 250 species of wildlife, including crocodiles, turtles, boas, and protected birds. The project would also create a crocodile sanctuary, helping relocate wildlife away from tourist beaches. But the lagoon is under threat. Studies show high levels of contamination due to unregulated development and wastewater discharge. With support from Semarnat, the municipality hopes to legally protect the lagoon, turning it into a cultural and ecological attraction for locals and tourists alike. El Calele may soon go from forgotten to iconic, a symbol of Nayarit's commitment to conservation. With information from Israel Torres, this is Sunny Rossi, CPS News.
Okay, so in our first segments tonight, we had a little bit of good news, a little bit of bad news. I really hope these crocodile stories end soon. We really don't want more of that, so keep your eyes out. If you see something, report it, talk about it. Let's prevent this stuff from happening. But with that, we need to go to commercial in a minute, but of course, after we get back, we're gonna have our Voices of Vallarta, and you're gonna wanna stay tuned because I got Vin Maru on, and you're probably gonna wanna take some notes because we're gonna be talking about money, money, money. We all wanna hear about money, and Vin's got some very interesting updates for you, especially if you might be an Intercam customer, a little bit of a tease. So we'll be right back in just a minute. Okay, it is time for, my personal favorite segment of the show, maybe yours too, but it's time for our interview segment, also called Voices of Vallarta. And I'm really happy today to have a personal friend on and financial research analyst, Vin Maru, who's going to be talking about money, 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 one of our favorite topics.
Thank you for having me on, Brent.
Good to have you. You live here full time. You've been living abroad for how long?
Three and a half years now.
Okay, so you're view of the finance and markets probably went from a little bit more myopic wherever you were living in Canada, I think.
Canada. So I covered U.S. and Canadian markets, international in general, but not really Mexico.
Okay, well now, obviously Mexico's been a focus for you now
since
you moved here. So that's great. Well, and I really wanted to have you on because I feel like there's some things going on right now that I know our viewers are a bit interested in. And let's start with the hot topic that's really been all over social media lately, and that's the banking situation. And I know it's more than one bank. I don't remember every single name of every one, but I know Intercam's one that really is on a lot of people's minds right now. And I would love your perspective on the situation, maybe even a little crystal ball.
Sure.
What do you think's going on here?
So 3.5 weeks ago, I guess it was, the Treasury Department of the U.S. essentially banned banking transactions with three major banks here. Two banks and one brokerage firm. CI Banco, Intercam, which most expats use, and then this Vector Casa de Bolsa, it's a brokerage firm. And literally what had happened was, I guess they were investigating money laundering, cartel money is the kind of the thing. I think it goes a little beyond that. And so any transactions from US funds moving into these banks were stopped altogether. And then since then, the Mexican government had gotten involved with these 3 banks, and Visa essentially stopped working with them. The debit cards that you would have had were no longer able to use them abroad. So it really put a lot of strain on expats who mostly banked with Intercam because it was easy to open an account with them. You didn't even need to be a resident.
Right.
So most people went with that, and transferring funds, if you had Social Security money or just any money coming into that bank, stopped altogether, and it put a lot of strain on some of these expats.
Interesting. So it's hard to even ask you, like, where are we headed with this? What's the situation? No, personally for me, I've been recommending people, maybe you want to try and move your money, and I've heard different stories that it's been easy, it's been hard. Let's not tell people what to do, but if you were in the situation and you banked with Intercam, what would you do? What would your process be?
Sure. So one thing I do want to notice is that a week or 2 ago, they did a 45-day stay on this. So you have up until the September 4th, I think was the date, before it really goes into effect. But that being said, funds are still not getting through. People transferring from Wise or that, it's just not coming into the banks. So there are other alternatives for banks here. I personally use BBVA for personal banking, but for investment banking, I always recommend Actinver, and I always have, because I've looked at Intercam back then and Actinver, and I just felt Actinver was a much more solid company, banking institution to work with.
Well,
and they're primarily an investment bank.
And I can't really disagree with you because I kind of utilize the same strategy.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about this, but that's how I do it. BBVA is my hub. But I also realize that some of our viewers, and we have a lot of obviously mostly English-speaking viewers, are going to be intimidated by to walk into BBVA, open up an account. They don't speak a lot of English. Actinver does. Any recommendation for those folks? I mean, I know what I went through to open up that BBVA account. What was your experience like?
Oh, it was a bit of a nightmare. So the first one I went to had an account person that was opening the account, spoke only Spanish. They essentially told me that I had to buy insurance with them to open the account. And I'm like, really? And it was pretty expensive.
Yeah.
So I walked out of there. Next day, went to another branch just down the road, got an English-speaking rep, told him what happened. He goes, oh, no, don't worry about it. Opened up my account, no issues. And it actually has a pretty good app.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Actinver, why I like them is because all the reps are English-speaking. It's an investment bank primarily. And you get more of a personalized service with them, I think.
I don't disagree. So thank you for your insights on that. I always recommend people do your homework, make your best choices. But let's talk about the next hot topic. And this one's always a hot topic. Exchange rates. We're sitting at about 18.7 to 18.8, give or take. What's your crystal ball say? Why are we what I would say is traditionally maybe a little bit of a lower rate as we're used to over the last few years? But what's your opinion right now, briefly? And again, your crystal ball is only as, get a little Windex out.
Sure.
It's just a crystal ball, folks. What's your crystal ball say?
So demand for pesos kind of dried up during the COVID time, which strengthened it. And you were getting 21, 22, I think it even went higher. Then the peso just strengthened. It was down to about 16.50 right before the Mexican election. Once that was done, the US dollar strengthened again. Just recently, about maybe a month and a half ago, I think it had gone almost to 21, and now it's at 18.70. So I think there's that wide range where it was let's say above 20 and it was 16. I think that range is tightening up.
Okay.
So if we stay within this, on the lower end, I suspect 18, but could we go back up to 20? Yeah. So I think we're going to be in this tightening range, and there's got to be a major catalyst for it to break out of that range. So either there's something fundamentally broken with the Mexican economy to weaken the peso, or something fundamentally broken with the US dollar.
Correct.
To weaken the dollar. And so until something major happens, even the reps at Actinver said it should be really 1850 to 1950s, that trading range and that. So I would suggest for people that need to buy pesos for a large purchase, there's a couple of options that they have. For a home, you can actually hedge through an FX market. So you can set a price now, and if it's higher, you're actually earning interest rates. Or with Actinver, they actually have a term note. It's only about 15 days, but let's say within the next 15 days you need X amount of pesos, but you want to wait for a more favorable exchange rate, you can tell them, all right, if it hits 19.25, automatically buy it. And in that meantime, you have your US dollar funds there. They actually pay a great interest rate, more so than your traditional CIETES bonds pay and stuff like that. So
that's amazing.
Those are good options to look at.
That's great advice. I wish we had like 20 more minutes to cover this. This is super interesting, and I'm learning a lot from you as well. But the benefit for me is I can go offset with you and chat a little bit more. But now, if our viewers want to learn more, follow you, and just kind of know what you're up to, what's the best way for our viewers to know, like, what's Vin up to, what's he talking about, what's going on with his mind and finance?
Sure. So if you're looking for Mexico-specific information, I've got a Facebook called Investors and Entrepreneurs Mexico. My website is Financial Liberties. That's where I kind of do broad things with my business and whatnot. So either of those two options are available.
Loved having you on set today, and thank you so much. Sadly, we're out of time, but I hope you learned a little something. I definitely did, and I'm definitely going to follow some of your advice in terms of finance and money, and I'm going to stay in touch and keep following you. But with that, we've got to move on, and on our next story tonight, we've got Sunny, and here it is.
As summer vacations begin across Mexico, Puerto Vallarta is gearing up for a busy season with hotel occupancy projected between 70 and 80%, according to Rosalba Alejandra Cornejo, Municipal Director of Tourism and Economic Development. She highlighted new air routes, including a direct flight to Morelia, the reactivation of flights to Los Cabos, and a new highway, all boosting national connectivity. Flights to Guadalajara also remain strong, and while Canadian tourism peaks in winter, 4 flights continue this summer, a sign of ongoing interest. Travel agents from Canada are visiting Vallarta this season for fam trips to experience the destination firsthand, building trust and promoting Puerto Vallarta internationally. The city is also preparing for major cultural events, including the National Mariachi Encounter and the prestigious Ariel Awards, honoring the best in Mexican cinema. Puerto Vallarta will host actors, press, and digital content creators from across the country. As part of the lead-up to the Ariels, the film La Aria, directed by Isabel Cristina Fregosa and shot in San Sebastián del Oeste, Mascota, and Puerto Vallarta, was screened locally. The film is nominated for 3 Ariels, including Best Ibero-American Film, Best Costume Design, and Best Original Score. With information from Miguel Gonzalez Guerra, this is Sunny Rossi, CPS News.
All right, Puerto Vallarta is set for a strong summer with new connections and major events on the horizon. We'll keep watching how it all heats up and as our summer heat continues. All right, now here's Barbara, and she is going to tell you about, well, more heat and how your pets can be more prepared and safe as temperatures continue to soar.
As Puerto Vallarta faces extreme summer heat, our beloved dogs are at serious risk of heat stroke, a medical emergency that can be life-threatening. Heat stroke happens when a dog's body temperature rises above 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Unlike humans, dogs don't sweat. They cool off mainly by panting and to a lesser extent through their paw pads, making them especially vulnerable to the hot and humid weather. Watch out for symptoms like excessive panting, drooling, bright red or pale gums, weakness, disorientation, vomiting, and even seizures. To keep your dog safe, never leave them in a parked car. Avoid walks during the hottest hours. Always provide fresh water and offer plenty of shade. If you suspect heat stroke, move your dog to a cool, shaded place. Apply damp, not ice-cold cloths to their neck, paws, and belly. Offer fresh water and get to the veterinarian immediately. Remember, quick action and prevention are the keys to protecting your furry friend this summer. With information from Liana Garcia, Barbara Lapointe, CPS News.
Thanks for that good advice, Barbara. And I know the pets out there and pet owners are really appreciative of that and really hope they take care in this massive amount of heat that we have right now. Okay, now a quick word from our sponsor. And of course, it's La Katrina Cantina. Puerto Vallarta experienced a frightening incident this week involving a young boy caught in a criminal scheme. Here are the details so you can also be aware and keep your family safe.
A wave of relief swept across Puerto Vallarta on Wednesday night after young Joaquin Vasquez Romero was found safe and unharmed following a terrifying case of virtual extortion. Earlier that day, Joaquin, a resident of El Coloso, received a phone call from unknown criminals who told him his family was in danger. Using threats and fear tactics, they manipulated the boy into leaving his home and following their instructions, claiming it was the only way to protect his loved ones. Once outside, the extortionists called back, gathering detailed information about his family, including names, vehicles, and number of siblings. They then used that information to contact his parents, claiming they had kidnapped Joaquin. In a panic, the parents deposited 20,000 pesos, and the criminals later demanded an additional 250,000. Fortunately, thanks to the swift action by Puerto Vallarta's municipal police, particularly the tourist police, and a powerful response from the community on social media, the boy was found safe that evening. An anonymous tip led authorities to a location in Colonia Emiliano Zapata, several kilometers from his home. He was unharmed and quickly reunited with his family. This case reveals how virtual extortionists are now targeting minors, using fear and psychological pressure to manipulate them. Authorities are urging parents to talk to their children about these scams, never share personal information over their phone, and report suspicious calls immediately to 089 or 911. Puerto Vallarta once again proves that united, the community can overcome even the most frightening situations. With information from Guadalupe Arce, Joe Wasik, CPS News.
Wow, now that could have been much worse. And kudos to the authorities in this case. Okay, now here's Eric again with our next story tonight.
In a heartbreaking scene that has shaken the community of Palma Real in San Vicente, 3 little girls, including a toddler and twin babies, were found alone and in inhumane conditions, prompting immediate action by local authorities. Late Monday night of last week, neighbors alerted authorities after hearing constant crying from a nearby home. Responding to the call, officers from Unidad Violeta, a special unit of Bahía de Banderas Public Security Department, arrived to find the front door partially open. Inside, they discovered a 3-year-old asleep on a bed and 2 infants crying uncontrollably, dangerously close to falling. The home was in unsanitary condition and completely unsupervised. Authorities immediately notified DIF, the local child protection agency, to take custody of the girls. Officers remained at the scene for nearly 2 hours until the mother, reportedly struggling with addiction, returned. She was informed of legal proceedings for child neglect. The children were taken to the Women's Justice Center, where medical evaluations revealed severe concerns. One baby has vision problems, the other suffers from a heart condition and a burn on her arm. All 3 girls are now in the care of DIF as a formal investigation begins. This case is a sobering reminder of the silent dangers some children face and the power of a community that listens, reports, and protects its most vulnerable. With information from Israel Torres, Eric Stevenson, CPS News.
It is heartbreaking to hear about these young lives in such difficult circumstances. Hopefully, with the support they have, better days ahead of them for all of these girls. In our next story tonight, Bahía de Banderas is facing a difficult reality. The issue of missing people is very real and it seems to be growing. Officials are speaking out and promising action as families and the community demand answers. And here's Joe again with these details.
In a rare moment of candor, Brianna Guzman Delgado, Director of Public Security for Bahía de Banderas, has confirmed what many feared. The municipality does have active cases of missing persons. Speaking publicly this week, Guzman acknowledged that while disappearances may seem sporadic, they are real and growing. The municipal department issues official alerts and initiates search efforts when people go missing, but many cases remain unresolved. A troubling trend has also been identified. Drug addiction plays a role in many disappearances. Victims often lose consciousness or awareness, wandering far from home, sometimes even outside the municipality. While a few have been located, many have not. Currently, 25 people have been reported missing in Bahía de Banderas in the first half of 2025. According to Mexico's National Registry of Missing and Unlocated Persons, only 7 have returned. The other 18 remain missing. including 3 minors aged 10 to 15, 4 women, and 21 men. This mirrors numbers from the same period in 2024, when 25 people were also reported missing, although 13 were eventually found that year. Guzman emphasized that when a report is filed, the municipality provides immediate support, then refers the case to the Nayarit State Prosecutor's Office. There's also close collaboration with Mothers Search Collectives, especially after the recent discovery of human remains in parts of the municipality. Those groups, led by families of the missing, estimate that nearly 1,000 people have disappeared in Bahia over the past 10 years. Her final message, quote, "We're not turning a blind eye. We're working with families and the justice system to find those who are missing and to stop more from disappearing," end quote. With information from Guadalupe Arce, Joe Wasik, CPS News.
That's some shocking and frightening stuff, and I'm hoping that we can get beyond that and with some better news, but I'm glad, we're moving in the right direction. All right, so with that, we're about to go to commercial. This is generally the time where I would banter with Jessie. We'd have some playful banter, but she ain't here. So sorry about that, Jessie. I would love to be bantering with you right now, but I know you're at a very important thing. So big shout out right now to Bella, who's doing some fun stuff, and I think she might be doing some gymnastics and all kinds of good stuff, but I'm here doing the hard work. Don't you worry, Jessie. But in the meantime, let's let our sponsors do some hard work. We're going to go to a commercial, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to CPS News, and thanks for sticking with us tonight. Now, in our next story, a woman was struck by a municipal vehicle last Wednesday afternoon, triggering outrage from the local residents. The incident occurred on Avenida Las Penas, where the woman was hit by a Razor vehicle belonging to the city community construction department. She was left injured on the cobblestone street until emergency services arrived. In an official statement, Puerto Vallarta City Hall confirmed the vehicle is insured and that the municipal employee behind the wheel has been turned over to the proper authorities, along with the vehicle, to ensure due legal process. The city has vowed to provide a full medical and legal support to the injured woman and to her family. "We are committed to transparency and accountability," the statement reads. "A thorough investigation is underway. So far, the woman's condition remains unknown, and it's unclear whether the driver will face disciplinary action, but we'll be sure to let you know when we find out more." Thank you so much to Guadalupe Arce for this story. Now, moving on, here's Sunny again with some more news and maybe some reasons to raise a glass. Cheers, or cheers.
The Puerto Vallarta City Council has authorized 70 alcohol licenses for the establishments across the city, following a thorough verification process led by Mayor Luis Ernesto Munguia and municipal council members. The licenses, approved on July 15th during a session of the Council for Regulated Business Activities, aim to strengthen business formalization and legal certainty for local merchants, bars, and restaurants. According to Luis Alberto Fuentes Flores, Director of Registry and Licensing, 40 of the approvals are brand new licenses, while the other 30 involve changes of ownership, location, or business model. The new permits are spread throughout the city from Mismaloya to Las Palmas, with most issued to restaurants, grocery stores selling beer, and liquor shops. Only one cabaret was approved, located in Aguas Arca, with a change in ownership and a reissued license due to its age. This move follows a trend. 60 licenses were approved earlier this year by the current administration, and 71 were authorized authorized by the previous government before leaving office, bringing the total to 130 permits under this administration. City officials emphasize this initiative supports local economic growth and business confidence, ensuring more establishments operate with proper legal backing. With information from Miguel Gonzalez Guerra, this is Sunny Rossi, CPS News.
All right, it's time for sports. Let's kick it off, get it, with a new word I learned. So, David, welcome back, our sports guy. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
So the new word I learned is Tukiliga.
I had to learn that today too. So.
Super fun to say.
I wish Jesse was here to explain it to us, but we're just going to make up its own meaning, I think.
We're barely surviving without her. I feel it.
You seem really lonely up here, so that's the only reason I'm here. So.
Aww,
and some sports.
I'd give you a hug if you weren't on your mark, but
that's
fair
right.
enough.
Yes.
All right, tell our viewers what the heck Tukiliga is and everything else going on with sports.
All right, sure will. All right, hey sports fans, it's time to bring you the latest highlights from Puerto Vallarta and Bahía de Banderas. The official call for the state stage of the 2025 National Popular Games will be announced soon, inviting young athletes from Bahía de Banderas to compete in 3 disciplines: popular soccer, martial arts, and boxing. This phase is open to Mexican athletes residing in Bahía de Banderas who meet the requirements set by the National Commission for Physical Culture and Sports, or CONADE. Local coaches will oversee the technical aspects of each sport, ensuring participants represent only one federal entity. Boxing is open to boys and girls born in 2009 and 2010, while martial arts will include beginner to advanced levels. The state competition will serve as a qualifier to select athletes who will represent Nayarit at the national level. Stay tuned to the official social media channels of Bahía de Banderas City Council for all the updates. Tukiliga, there's our new word. This weekend marked the successful end of Tukiliga, the city's official children's soccer league, which wrapped up its exciting season after weeks of action-packed matches across local fields. This summer, hundreds of young athletes from different neighborhoods showed off their talent, passion, and team spirit in a tournament filled with goals, grit, and unforgettable moments. Leading the scoreboard, the team Pumitas, who dominated the league by taking the championship title in 3 out of 4 categories, proving they are a rising force in Vallarta's youth football scene. The Atletico GPV squad also claimed gold in the 2014-15 division. Beyond the wins, Tukiliga is quickly becoming a key platform for developing young athletes while instilling values like teamwork, discipline, and fair play. Puerto Vallarta's commitment to building champions from the ground up is already shining on the field. Mountain biking excitement took center stage recently in the community of Bahía de Banderas as the Relo Vallejo marked the 5th event in the 2025 season of the Bahía Cycling League. The event kicked off bright and early around 7 a.m. with riders preparing and the closure of surrounding streets. The town's main plaza served as both the starting point and finish line for this demanding test of endurance and skill. At 8:20, the first wave of cyclists took off, competing in categories like elite men and women, juvenile, and masters categories. The second wave followed at 8:40, made up of juvenile, intermediates, and even more masters athletes. Riders faced tough terrain on 2 courses, 38 and 33 kilometers each, with completion times ranging from 1 hour and 40 minutes up to 3 hours and 30 minutes, depending on category and experience. The event also spotlighted the next generation of cyclists, with children's races and a specially designed urban circuit within the plaza. Categories range from toddlers as young as 3 to preteens up to 12, including divisions for all the kids to get on bikes and have some fun. The Relo Vallejo brought together over 180 cyclists from across the region, including competitors from Tepic, Compostela, Sayulita, La Penita, Punta Mita, Bucerias, Guadalajara, Tepatitlan, Talpa de Allende, and, of course, Puerto Vallarta. Lots of spectators, including family members, fans, and locals, filled the streets, creating a festive, high-energy atmosphere. The top 5 finishers in each category won awards, reinforcing Relo Vallejo's reputation as one of the most popular and representative races of the Bahía Cycling League 2025 calendar. That's local sports for this week. And now back to Just Brent.
Just Brent. Thank you. It sounds so sad.
You're welcome. I'm so used to saying Jesse and Brent.
I know.
It's
you did.
odd.
You nailed it. You nailed it.
Different.
And it's got to be hard. It's got to be hard this time of season too. There's just not a ton of sporting events going on,
Yeah.
but the ones you got like are impactful and they mean something. And I learned a new word.
We did.
How do we say
yeah.
it again? Turkalinga.
I forgot it already.
I forget. We need Jesse back
That's
so
right.
bad. We really do. Thank you, David,
All
for
right.
bringing your passion and heat every single week.
You bet. See you next week.
Great to have you. Next up, it's time for a quick shout out to our sponsor, and of course, it's the Mare Galante. Now, since Jesse is off today, I'm going to take over and tell you what's new and what's going on at sea. The legendary pirate ship, the Mare Galante, just brought a fully upgraded, action-packed pirate show featuring acrobatics, music, special effects, and water stunts that you're just not going to want to miss. Right now, they're offering 50% off the regular experience or 45% off the VIP premium menu with dishes like the beef medallion with lobster, filet mignon with shrimp, plus some solid vegetarian and vegan options. In the open bar, well, Jessie's not here to tell you about it, but emphatically she would say top shelf stuff like Grey Goose, Don Julio, Jack Daniels, and much, much more. Don't forget to meet the new mascot, that's Josefino, and grab some selfies with him, and then just live your best pirate life. Book your spot now at pirateshipvallarta.com before this deal sails away. And as she would say, arr, come back, Jessie, I hate the arr, it's hard. So here we are. It's break time, and we got some stories coming up. This is generally the time where I begin to tell you about some interesting things that are coming up in the news. For example, there are 2 contaminated beach stories, but only one's contaminated. You figured that one out, the north or the south. But the good news is some of them are already cleaned up. But even more interesting is we've got On This Day coming. I know you guys enjoy it. I won't banter with Jesse about it, but stay tuned. Come right back. We'll cover On This Day. Okay, before we move on with more news, it's time for a little fun. Of course, like I said, it won't be quite as fun without bantering with Jesse about it, but it's time for On This Day, which always shares some interesting things that on this day, and not really in history, but just kind of like some weird and quirky stuff. So the first one's going to be, and these are all real, mind you, I looked these up. Invite an alien to live with you day. So we're talking about the ones from space and invite them. So if you run into an alien out on the streets in Vallarta or a lion, which seems really plausible, invite them to come live with you. They can hang out. That's a shout out to you, Kiri. It's also National Get Out of the Doghouse Day. All right, if you're in the doghouse right now and you know who you are, get out of it, make amends with your loved one, get out of the doghouse because today is the day to do it. It's also, God, it's a weird day. It's also Take a Monkey to Lunch Day, okay? It is Take a Monkey to Lunch. The monkey has been sitting around, he chops your vegetables, he's hanging out all day, he's throwing poop around the house. He deserves a lunch. Take him to lunch, treat the monkey well, today only, and then just go back to normal. Okay, last but not least, you're gonna really appreciate this one. It's Air Conditioning Appreciation Day. And it's not just one day. It started on July 3rd and it goes all the way to August 15th. So if you're sitting in the AC right now, like we are right here in the set, it's a day to appreciate that air conditioning. So that's it. That's all for On This Day. All right, with that, it is time for the events calendar. So get your phones out, get ready to make some notes. We've got some good stuff going on. And so let's go with the events.
This Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., Come explore the roots of Puerto Vallarta's vibrant art scene at Arte Vallarta Museo. Don't miss this special exhibition featuring works by local legends like Ramon Barragan, Manuel Lepe, Javier Niño, Ada Colorina, and more. Celebrate with us the history, color, and creativity that shaped Vallarta's cultural identity. Arte Vallarta Museo, open to the public, bilingual, and nonprofit. Discover the artists who helped put Vallarta on the map. Sunday, July 27th, join us at Park Perota on Avenue Medina Asensio, right next to Plaza Caracol, from noon until 8 p.m. for a delicious food festival. Taste over 40 varieties of exquisite dishes brought to you by 10 of Puerto Vallarta's very best restaurants. Bring your family and friends for a fun full day of great food and good vibes. Best of all, admission completely free. Don't miss out on this amazing culinary experience. See you there and bon appetit. Sleigh bells ring. In July? You heard right. It's Christmas in July at La Catrina Cantina this Friday, July 25th at 5 p.m. Join the incredible pianist Derek Kargner with special guests for a heartwarming evening of holiday cheer. All to benefit Rise, a local children's shelter. No cover, just joy, music, and giving back. Christmas style. La Catrina Cantina, where the holiday magic hits early. Don't miss it, and Feliz Navidad. New to Vallarta? Thinking of relocating? Then don't miss the orientation to Vallarta with longtime expat Madeline Milne, happening at the Living Room Bookstore and Cafe in Marina Vallarta. Join Madeline from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on July 26th. It's free, open to the public, and packed with local tips on neighborhoods, buying versus renting, and building your community. Get orientated, get connected, get Vallarta. Hey Vallarta, saddle up for a boot-stomping good time at La Catrina Cantina. This Saturday, July 26th at 5 p.m. Don't miss Crankin' Country with Spencer. An evening full of energy, twang, and classic country hits that'll get you moving. Yahoo! No cover, just great vibes, cold drinks, and pure country fun. La Catrina Cantina, where the West meets the fiesta. Be there, partner. Cruise in to the weekend with Vallarta's own local all-English radio show. Your dose of classic rock, local vibes, and real stories from real people just like you. It's fresh, it's fun, and it's all about Puerto Vallarta, and it's on your radio dial, Radiante 98.3 FM. Join your host, Jesse Ruiz, every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Buckle up, let's start the journey. You can also listen online or podcast style at Radiante.fm or on Facebook. Just search for Vallarta's Asphalt. This August, the Vallarta Botanical Garden is buzzing with color. Join the Hummingbird Festival from Tuesday, August 12th to Saturday, August 16th. Celebrate these dazzling little birds with a full week of guided tours, art workshops, and fun photo challenges for all ages. Activities are included with the general admission, but don't forget, workshops do fill up very fast, so register the same day at the Hall of the Flowers. It's nature, creativity, and family fun, only at the Vallarta Botanical Garden. All right, well, that's a wrap for this week. Stick around for more news.
Great events coming up. A little bit of everything this summer. And guys, that event section was brought to you by our sponsor. And of course, that's Don Coco right here in Marina Vallarta. Cheers again.
Don Coco Restaurant Bar, freshness isn't just a detail, it's the heart of everything we do. Every dish is made to order. Vibrant ceviches, perfectly spicy aguachiles, and micheladas so cold they feel like a hug from the sea. Located right in front of Marina Vallarta's most beautiful pier, Don Coco has it all. Breathtaking ocean views, feel-good vibes, bold flavors, and an atmosphere that hooks you from the very first sip. And if you're lucky, you might just bump into the legendary Don Coco himself. Our 2-for-1 margarita happy hour, and be sure to try the cocktails that are becoming the talk of Vallarta. Find us in Proa, Local 18, corner of Yates in Marina del Rey. Call or WhatsApp to order ahead, 322-688-1887. Don Coco, where bold flavor begins and the good vibes of Vallarta come alive.
Okay, next up, like I teased earlier, we have two competing beach contamination stories. It's North versus South, and here's our first one.
This summer, Puerto Vallarta is facing a serious health alert. COFEPRIS, Mexico's federal health risk agency, has declared 3 of the city's most iconic beaches, Playa del Cuale, Playa Camarones, and Playa Mismaloya, unsafe for recreational use due to high levels of fecal contamination. Recent water quality tests revealed alarming results. Playa del Cuale registered 822 enterococci per 100 milliliters. Mismaloya came in at 497. Camarones slightly exceeded the limit with 211. For context, the maximum safe level is 200. These bacteria are clear indicators of sewage pollution, whether from human or animal waste. The causes are no mystery: urban sprawl, failing sewage infrastructure, informal settlements, and runoff during the rainy season, all combined with high tourist traffic. Together, they've turned parts of the bay into a public health concern. It's especially troubling as these beaches are located in the heart of Vallarta's tourism zones, near the famed Malecón, luxury resorts, and family-friendly destinations. COFEPRIS urges citizens and visitors to avoid swimming at these locations until further notice, while also calling on local authorities to address the root problems, not just clean the surface. As the summer vacation season reaches its peak, tourists are advised to stay informed and check official advisories, because what looks like paradise could pose unseen risks. With information from Ugolin, Maria Ammerman, CPS News.
Now here's our next beach story, and this time, the north winds. Here's Barbara with the story.
Summer-ready shores, Bahía de Banderas beaches declared clean and safe for 2025 vacation season. Great news for beachgoers. The Federal Commission for the Protection Against Sanitary Risks, COFEPRIS, has officially confirmed that all beaches in Bahía de Banderas are clean and safe for recreational use this summer, 2025. Following a nationwide analysis between June 27th and July 4th, COFEPRIS tested 289 of the country's most visited beaches, including local hotspots like Nuevo Vallarta, Bucerías, La Cruz de Guanacaste, y El Enzote in Punta de Mita, Sayulita, and even San Pancho. All tested waters showed Enterococcus bacteria levels well below the international safety limit of 200 per 100 milliliters, as set by the World Health Organization and COFEPRIS. In Bahía de Banderas, results were far below that threshold, with Sayulita showing just 66 units. And that's a significant improvement from Easter, when a spill of untreated water had temporarily spiked contamination levels in Sayulita. This announcement brings relief and confidence to residents, visitors, and local tourism businesses alike, just in time for the summer travel surge. So grab your sunscreen. The beaches of Bahía de Banderas are officially open and sparkling clean for summer.
And with that, we've come to the end of CPS News with Jesse and Brent this week, even though it's just me. I hope you enjoyed your time with me tonight. I really enjoyed it with you, and I hope you got some good information from the stories tonight. A lot of it was animal-centric. We had lions, we had dogs and pets, and some contaminated beaches. But we'll be back next week with some more interesting stories, more sports with David, and more entertainment. So with that, good evening. Have a nice night from CPS News with Jesse and Brent. Thank you so much for tuning in.